there right now. Oh, here it is. Okay, we're back.
You know, apologies go out. We had some technical difficulties, and we're back. We definitely want to.
Do you want me to clear up the Muhammad Ali thing for you?
Yeah, go ahead, do that. And
Yeah, because Muhammad Ali was off for 3 years from 1967, and then he came back in 1970, and he fought Jerry Quarry. Then he fought Oscar Benavido, and then in '71 he fought Frazier. So he didn't fight Foreman until '71. So that's how that whole thing played out. And I'm just checking BoxRec right now to verify it, and that's information is correct. Yeah. So he had two comeback fights before he fought Frazier in '71, and he lost to Frazier, obviously. And then he didn't get a title shot again until '74 when he fought Foreman. So that's how that whole thing went.
well, yeah, I did. I just definitely want people to check out that documentary. It's definitely good. Beautiful, beautiful documentary, and it feels like more like a movie than a documentary. So, you know, I Am Ali gets high ratings from me. But moving to the meat and potatoes, we actually got two big topics to talk about. We got to discuss this Mayweather finally being challenged in mainstream media, and of course Deontay Wilder and Dan Rayfield saying that a source is saying that Wilder turned down $2 million from Rock Nation back in the middle of September. Um, so two big things we got to talk about. So, B, what I want to do, even though we've already wasted a lot of time, I actually wanted to try and play audio of Stephen H. Smith. Let me see if I can.
Well, my first take about it is that Floyd knows better than that. He knows that I say what I mean, and I mean what I say. And if anybody's backtracking, some would say that he's backtracking. Even if I that I do, at least I got a legitimate reason to. I work for somebody. I have to answer to somebody. That's ESPN. You want to call that a shame, then call most of the American public being shameful because they're employed by somebody else. Floyd is worth close to $500 million, if not more. But he's backtracked from time to time. So I'd ask him to look in the mirror in that regard, and I'll leave it at that in terms of that particular. But to take this matter further, I said on Twitter just the other night, Skip, and I'm going to reiterate my point. I'm not going to get into a Twitter war. I don't agree with him. You know how I feel about Floyd. You know how great I think he is. I think he's the best on the planet, and I stand by that. I'm going to be a man about this because somebody needs it. Here's the bottom line. Floyd Mayweather Jr. continues to tell the public that he just wants to give the fans what we want to see. My response is people have been asking for Pacquiao for years. Miguel Cotto is an elite fighter, especially since now he's training with Freddie Roach. You go that route, nobody can knock you for that. Canelo Alvarez, despite the fact that you're Floyd and you schooled him and picked him apart, this dude is a young lion. He's big time. Some would think he's worthy of a rematch because he may have learned from that experience. They may have thought they saw some slippage from Floyd over the last couple of fights against Marcos Madonna. All right. And that might make the fight interesting. So you can understand that. But outside of those two fighters passing on Pacquiao, for those two fighters, there's no excuse to pass on Manny Pacquiao, particularly if what you're coming to us with is Amir Khan. Now, if Floyd Mayweather deciphered what I was trying to say, what I am saying is, in my opinion, Amir Khan is not in Floyd Mayweather's class. He doesn't belong in the same boxing ring as Floyd Mayweather. He didn't pay the dues that Floyd Mayweather paid. He doesn't have a flawless record exercised by or displayed by Danny Garcia, beating him to a pulp with a TKO victory in 4 rounds just a couple of years back. When you talk about a premier fight for boxing fans to see, we don't give a damn about Amir Khan when it comes to who we want to see in the ring with Floyd Mayweather Jr. And if that is what provoked Floyd Mayweather Jr. to go on his diatribe,
Beeb, I don't know if you hear me, but what I was saying,
I can hear you.
I
I
had
hear you now, but you cut out.
had to cut it out because people in the chat are saying that we should have probably got permission to play that. Maybe they're right, so I'll cut it out. But the gist of it is he's being challenged finally publicly, and it's mainstream. And Mayweather came back with some comments on Fight Hype. You were close to this story, so what's your thoughts?
Well, you know, I never thought what Stephen A. Smith said, was very offensive to Mayweather. But Mayweather is a very fragile guy when it comes to his ego, and he's very sensitive. And you're either 100% with him or 100% against him. There's no middle ground with Mayweather. And that's the bad thing about it. I mean, he's so quick to cut you loose. Before he was cool with Stephen A. Smith, Stephen A. Smith makes one remark, and now he wants to cut Stephen A. Smith loose. The thing is, people are going to criticize you. You're not going to be 100% perfect, and you should know that as a human being, you're not going to be 100% perfect. So just because someone criticizes you, you have to take that with a grain of salt sometimes. I think Mayweather should have just said, you know what, that's Stephen A. Smith's opinion. He has a right to it, and moved on. I don't think Mayweather had to go on that tirade, as Stephen A. Smith puts it. So I just think that a lot of people are sick of the situation right now. It's not just Stephen A. Smith that wants to see the Pacquiao fight. Everybody wants to see the Pacquiao fight. And Mayweather knows this. So why does he act like people are supposed to hold all that in? Why can't people talk about it? Why does it offend him so much when people talk about Pacquiao? There's got to be some underlying reason there. And it has to be that he's uncomfortable with the man. There's got to be something about Manny Pacquiao that disturbs Floyd Mayweather, that he's concerned with. There's no other way I could put it. It just makes no sense to me that he would get so upset at the mere mention of this guy's name. So everybody's been dropping hints. I really strongly believe that the fight's going to happen in May if Pacquiao does beat Algieri, as do others. And so if we speak about it, we speak about it. What's the big deal? Why does everything got to be a secret? Why do we have to tiptoe around everything? Why, when you speak about or you talk to Floyd Mayweather, you have to walk on eggshells? It's ridiculous. It's totally ridiculous. And I'm glad Stephen A. Smith said what he said. I'm glad that he went and backed up his statements, and he didn't backtrack as he said. He didn't backtrack. He held firm to his beliefs and what he thought was the case in his opinion. So, kudos to Steve Smith.
Yeah, I'm just happy that someone is finally challenging the guy and putting him on the spot in mainstream media, because, the fact of the matter is, again, it's the entire reason that I brought up the I Am Ali documentary, because you just got Ali called himself the greatest, but look at all the things that he did. I mean, not that Floyd didn't accomplish anything, but Ali always went above and beyond. Like that Foreman fight, period, was crazy. Foreman was a big dude beating up all heavyweights, and he got that win, and he was loved too. Like Floyd is not loved. He needs to do something with that persona before it's too late, because people adore Ali. So much time has gone by and they adore him, man. I mean, it's night and day, the levels that these two guys were on in terms of popularity. And you gotta, when you put it into perspective, because I know we're gonna get the flow modes on the video, since this is a spontaneous show, we'll get them on the chat. But you gotta put it into perspective that if that Ali, you don't have to put him in Floyd's generation, because that Ali was so much bigger than Floyd, right? And I'm gonna explain to you why. He was dealing with a time, Beeb, that it was pure racism. He was a black man in America speaking out, dodging the draft, like doing all this in front of everybody. And on top of that, ridiculing his opponents every chance he got. They made it clear that before Ali, people just didn't talk trash that way. Like, they didn't do that. But he was so well spoken think about the two differences in these two guys. Again, not taking anything from Floyd. I mean, look at him. He's created an empire. He is a brand. You know, I can't take anything away from him, but Muhammad Ali is a whole nother thing, you know. So I still will give Floyd, in my opinion, TBE, you know. And again, that documentary is what brought me to that conclusion because, listen, Ali had the agility that fighters in that generation, they just weren't, they never seen that. But then after Ali came the Roy Jones of the world and the Nonito Donairs and guys, you know, like Montiel, was it Montiel or yeah, Montiel used to have a serious lead left hook, and then, you know, you got Floyd Mayweather with his lead left hook and other fighters that came with agility. But Floyd, he did what Ali was doing back then. He's doing it now, but he's not getting hit. He's not getting hit. This dude is lasting. Man, 37-year-old Ali and 37-year-old Floyd is Floyd of today. Look at the difference. Look at the difference, man. So, you know, you got to start putting into perspective that, yeah, you know, you guys want to say things like, oh, well, he might have not fought the best in his era. I don't know about that, man. I don't know. I mean, this dude, he's just, he's something special, but his legacy will never be complete if he doesn't take this fight. He has to fight Pacquiao. Just get it over with. Like, I don't understand why dangle this carrot in front of the fans' eyes for so long. And it's sad that we're talking about it today because it probably won't happen until that Showtime deal is out and he can put HBO and Showtime at a bidding war for himself, B.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we could sit there and speculate all we want, and even the indications and the implications lead us to one direction. But this guy Mayweather, you never know what he's going to do next because everything is basically geared off of emotion. You know, you can't fault the guy for his business acumen. We already know that, you know, he's got Haymon in his corner, and what he's done not only in the ring but outside the ring in terms of his finances and getting those deals that have made him the richest athlete on the planet. That goes without saying. But at the end of the day, you know, he could be that much more richer. You know what I mean? Like, he should be having endorsements. And what would happen if he did fight Pacquiao? What if they fought twice? I mean, the money he would make in those two fights would be unheard of. It would eclipse everything he's made, possibly or rival everything he's made in totality in his career. In those two fights, those two fights could rival, you know, everything he's made, his net worth. So you know, you want to give him credit, and you don't want to bash the guy, you know, and you don't want to come off as being this Mayweather hater, but he's just a hard guy to not criticize at times. Some of the things he says and does, they're just unfathomable. You know what I mean? It just makes no sense. And I'll just hold to this one point. There's just got to be something about Manny Pacquiao that disturbs this guy. There's no other reason to explain why he won't fight him, at least not now, because now is the perfect time, because Pacquiao has declined, and he's declined somewhat, but one would argue that not as far as Pacquiao. And Pacquiao fought very well in his last fight against Bradley. He fought very intelligently, but I still don't think that you know, he's on that level as Mayweather. I think that Mayweather's still a little bit ahead of him in terms of prime years, and he, you know, given Mayweather's style, obviously he hasn't taken the punishment that that Pacquiao has taken, hasn't been knocked out, hasn't, you know, been in those wars that Pacquiao has been in. But, you know, granted, he is getting hit more. The fight's interesting. It's interesting. You'd still favor Floyd, but you just don't know how competitive the fight would be. Would it be a 10-2 fight? Would it be a 7-5 fight? Would Mayweather stop him late due to just, you know, constantly hitting him in the face and busting up those eyes and swelling up those eyes? Would Freddie Roach pull the plug? There's so many variables that could happen in this fight because both of these men are not in their prime anymore, and given what we've seen from both guys recently. So there's just such a dynamic to this fight. Everybody wants to see it. I go to work. People who don't even watch boxing talk about this fight. I'll be in the supermarket. I'll be at the gym. I'll just be in all types of places. I'll be at the mall, and, you know, they'll see me with a boxing T-shirt on, and automatically they'll talk about this fight. You know what I'm saying? Whenever people talk about boxing, even in just the slightest sense, they bring up this fight. In all walks of life, in all sports shows, when they talk about boxing, the two names they bring up are Pacquiao and Mayweather. So Mayweather has to see all this. He has to see all this. So for this fight not to happen, if Pacquiao beats Algieri, it will make absolutely no sense to me.
Now, what about if you play devil's advocate? I mean, did he not build up the fight to this magnitude? Has it lost any luster at all, you think?
When people say that, I disagree. I think that, because let's look at it. Let's look at the math. When this fight was first talked about back in 2010, both guys were offered a $25 million guarantee. What do you think the guarantee is going to be now? Pacquiao was offered $40 million from Floyd Mayweather. That's significantly more than that $25 million. Mayweather can get upwards. I can't even speculate the guarantee Mayweather would get, and then the money on the back end. This fight right now, as crazy as it may seem, is bigger now because of all the built-up anticipation. And now, because both guys have slipped a little bit, this fight's even more interesting. So I don't buy that this fight isn't the same, or it doesn't have the same luster as it did 4 or 5 years ago. I don't buy that. And if people sit there, they're going to sit there and say, hey, you know what? I don't care about the fight. I don't care if it happens. I don't want to watch the fight. I'm sick of talking about it. Bullshit. Because you'll buy it. I know everyone that's bashing this fight now or sick of talking about this fight now, if this fight gets announced, guess what? You're going to buy it. I guarantee you're going to buy it. Because I talked all that shit about Mayweather Maidana the first time around, and I ended up buying it because I'm a junkie. And you know what? People who aren't junkies are talking about this fight. So guess what? They're going to buy it. And I talked to my boss at work, who doesn't really, he watches boxing on occasion, and he said to me, you know what? If they charged $100 for this fight, I would still buy it. That's how much intrigue is in this fight. People who don't even buy pay-per-views are saying they're going to buy this fight. This thing would go off the charts. $3 million easy. Easy.
Beeb, don't you dare say $100 again for somebody hear you and actually start putting the price of pay-per-view.
Well, it'll be more than 70, I'll guarantee you that.
Well, the point is the fight needs to happen. Hopefully, like you said, Pacquiao gets by Algieri and Floyd can make it happen. He has spoken about it with ESPN right after the Maidana fight. Hopefully he does do it because, the fight fans need it, man. They just need it. And I think it is bigger, B, because some of the points you made and others, like the fact that he's already getting guaranteed 32. So obviously the money has to be a lot more at this point.
And just think about all the sponsors that would want to get in on this. Are you kidding me? This thing would be enormous. Oh my God. This would be the biggest spectacle in all of sports history. In all of sports, everybody would be watching this fight in every country.
Now this is Mayweather after the Maidana fight.
We don't know what the future holds as of right now. Anything is possible. If the fight do happen, it has to happen on Showtime, pay-per-view only, and Mayweather Promotions have to do the fight. Absolutely, it's a possibility. We really can't say what the future holds. But as of right now, I want to go home, take a break, spend some time with my children, and then see who's next in May. Hopefully it's Manny Pacquiao.
There you have it. New words from Floyd Mayweather Jr.
Now, he said hopefully it's Manny Pacquiao. So obviously he's optimistic, but I don't understand. If you're going to say that, why do you shoot down every single rumor? Why don't you just go to the negotiation tables? Why is every rumor that comes out that they're saying that there is going to be a fight, he's coming out saying, no, it's not. That's not true.
Well, because if you remember, I don't know if you remember this, but remember back when it was rumored he was going to fight Victor Ortiz before he actually fought Victor Ortiz, and people were speculating. I was at Foxwoods, and he was there watching Victor Ortiz versus Andre Berto, and people are asking him, "Are you scouting this?" "Oh no, I'm just here with 50. 50's got a house out here." He just can't let anybody know anything about him. He always has to feel like he's in control of everything. He doesn't want you to know anything unless it comes directly out of his mouth. It's just such childish games with this guy. Like, he doesn't want to allow you to know anything about him or what he's going to do next, because he has to tell you, I move when I want to move. So he wants everything to be a surprise. Like nothing can be known. And everybody knew he was there scouting. He was going to fight the winner. Everybody knew that, but he denied everything. He has to play coy about everything, and it's just the way it's becoming so tedious right now. All the little antics of him, the way he comes across and the way he does things. It's just irritating. Like I'm just sick of the whole thing. I'm just sick of him. I'm sorry. I mean, I respect him as a fighter. And he's a great fighter or whatever, and I bought all his fights, and I will continue to buy all his fights, but he just irritates me at this point right now. Like he's becoming a broken record, and he's just not entertaining. Like inside the ring, I like to watch him. I love to watch him, but outside the ring, as you said, he doesn't even come close to Muhammad Ali. He's like 15 stratospheres away from Muhammad Ali. Like there's just nothing appealing to me about him outside the ring. And just the way he conducts himself, and listening to him in interviews, it's just, I don't know what else to say. I mean, I'm just sick of him.
The comparison is, like you said, it's light years apart, because Ali was so charismatic. He was so personable. He was so playful. He was, he walked the streets, no bodyguards. Like, I mean, this dude was just something else. He was iconic. He was iconic, and he was so much that it cannot be summed up in one word. But perfect segue into the big heavyweight news. ESPN doing an awesome job covering boxing. Stephen H. Smith with the First Take this morning, and now Rayfield letting out a bit of inside news, dirty little secrets, airing the laundry of one of the most anticipated mandatory bouts between the heavyweight title holders Bermane Stiverne and Deontay Wilder. Now, we all know that this fight has been happening forever, and there's been multiple purse bids and dates anyway, purse bid dates that have been postponed, and we all know that Wilder is advised by Al Haymon, and that Stiverne is promoted by King. So we don't know what the problem is.
Can I ask you what the problem is? Is Haymon blocking this fight, or not blocking it, but is he dragging this whole negotiation process out? What's going on? I mean, well, it seems like he makes everything so complicated. Why does he have to do all these things? Is he doing it?
It's becoming very hard to defend these actions, because let me see, because I want to get direct quotes, of course.
And I don't want to turn the show into that, and I'm not going to allow the show to go that way, but I'm going to just say two brief things about it. Danny Garcia's recent actions, and now this, and then Peter Quillen. And I'm just going to say it one time, and I'm going to end it. I'm not going to talk about it again. This is why I'm so skeptical of Haymon, even with this NBC deal. That's because of these recent actions. I can only hope for the best in the future, but I have to also look with what's in front of me right now, and what's going on right now in the present. And if this is any indication of what I'm going to get on NBC, then guess what? You could take that NBC deal and stick it straight up with where the sun don't shine, because I don't give two shits about it if this is what's going to happen. No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I mean, I can't argue. I cannot argue. WBC isn't taking action because obviously they don't want to upset Al Haymon, who brings a lot of money to them, and they don't want to upset Don King, who also has brought millions to him. Dan Rayfield did an excellent story, giving you backstory, of course, talking about Rock Nation and the fact that Al Haymon blocked the Peter Quillen fight. But where it gets juicy is that Mark, let me look for this name. Where is it? Because this is such a an awesome little piece of information here.
Yeah.
But the guy from Rock Nation made a $2 million offer to Deontay Wilder for back in the middle of September, and it was going to be a contract of 5 fights that they wanted to promote for him because Deontay Wilder isn't signed to Golden Boy. So in mid-September, they visited Alabama, where Wilder's from, and the guy's name is Michael Yormack. He is the one that visited Deontay Wilder, and he stood down there for 2 days, Beeb, and they offered him $2 million for the first Stiverne bout, but they also wanted to do a 5-fight contract with Rock Nation Sports, according to a source with knowledge of the offer. This is on Dan Rayfield's blog. And it's awesome. I mean, he said that this would have been 10 times what Wilder has ever gotten. And in order for someone to even do this, pay Wilder that much, they had to bid $7 million just to allow Wilder to get that much. And Rayfield went on to say that he felt that not even Rock Nation would make an offer that high, but the offer was up on September 26th, and it was off the table when Haymon didn't reply to the offer. It was taken off the table, and obviously, again, Haymon ruining a very high. This time it's 10 times. Not Peter Quillen was 3 times his pay. This was 10 times the amount Wilder has ever gotten, and Haymon.
Well, can I say something else too? I mean, obviously, Rock Nation.
Wait.
Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Small piece of information that has to be said.
Go ahead.
In blocking the fight, there's been no reports that he's blocking this fight. This is a report, of course, that he blocked Rock Nation, but both sides say that the deal is done, but that there's no sight. But Oscar De La Hoya said some of that too, and he doesn't even promote Deontay Wilder. So I'm telling you, the whole thing is crazy. But the important piece of information is, I guess Wilder's other manager that he has, or let me see. Well, go ahead and comment. Oh, here we go. Okay, I'm very happy to see Bermain is in great shape and ready to go. Cami Estefan, Stiverne's manager told ESPN.com on Monday, "We want this fight to happen ASAP, and we want a resolution. We're tired of waiting. We want a date and a site and the opportunity for Bermain to make a statement with his performance. For that to happen, the WBC needs to put its foot down immediately, which means following its rules, ordering the purse bid and allowing it to happen, and then let the chips and the boatload of Rock Nation sports money fall where they may, regardless of what Al Haymon and King want." This is Stiverne's manager. So clearly he is already upset at what's going on. So, Beeb, your thoughts on a significant top 10 heavyweight bout possibly not happening again because of a name that now even casual fans have to know, Al Haymon?
Well, I want to hang on the words you said, boatload of money, because that's key right there. Now, Rock Nation must have boatloads of money at their disposal, given Jay-Z and, given the whole structure of that company, because of Jay-Z, I should say. So we all know in business, big bank takes little bank. So at some point in time, because this company, Rock Nation, is so well off and has so much revenue at their disposal, there's just going to be a time where they're just going to throw so much money at somebody, and regardless of what Al Haymon says, it's not going to matter. The deal's just going to be too sweet. And at some point, they can't say no. So that's what I'm saying. Now, you alluded to Peter Quillen's deal. What was it? You said 2 times or 3 times? Now this time, 3 times. Okay, now this time it's 10 times. What's going to happen when Rock Nation pulls out the Brinks truck and comes down someone's driveway and says, here, let's go. We're ready to pay you 15 times more, 20 times more, or we're willing to give you, 10 fights at this set price each fight. What's going to happen? Because again, they're taking the gloves off here, Rock Nation. They're throwing all caution into the wind. They're ready to make some strong moves here, and they really don't care. They're ready to if someone puts down 10 million, they're ready to put down 30 million. They don't care. You know what I'm saying? They have the confidence, and Jay-Z knows that anything he does, he's going to be successful at. He's that confident. So he just feels that he could turn anything into something great. And I think that Rock Nation will eventually grow, and I think they'll become a force. You want to talk about Haymon? Let's talk about Rock Nation, because I don't know of anything Jay-Z's ever been involved with, whether it be clothes or cell phones or his music or anything he's touched that hasn't turned to platinum. So this is going to be interesting to see how this unfolds. I think Rock Nation is going to come out on top eventually. They may lose these skirmishes now, but I think at the end of the day, they may win the war. They just may win the war.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're definitely showing aggression. It's going to be interesting to see what fighter actually takes the bait. Because what's scary to me is the level of loyalty these fighters have to Al Haymon. I mean,
it's scary, isn't it?
Peter Quillen thing.
It's scary.
The Peter Quillen thing, that was one thing, 3 times the amount, and yeah, Ness is only a $500,000 difference. Okay, whatever. But Peter Quillen was at least accustomed to making $500,000, or whatever he was making. And obviously Wilder is in a whole nother situation, and a win could only mean more now, because they're giving you so much now just to fight Stiverne. What are they going to give you to fight Vladimir? So, listen, man.
Wilder's got to be very, very careful what he does now, because he could end up losing millions of dollars if he lets all these deals like this slip through his fingers. He's got to be very careful.
Well, I think playing devil's advocate, of course, the only thing that he could be telling his fighters is like, oh, they're only trying to pay that much because that's what it's worth, so don't worry, we're going to do it. Because how do you keep telling guys, unless he gave Wilder some money under the table too then.
Yeah, but let me ask you this. How many fighters do you know that have left a lot of money on the table and ended up missing out on a lot of good paydays? Like look at the James Kirkland situation. This guy turned down millions in so many, if you add up all the fights, like the Canelo fight and all these fights, the Golovkin fight, and you add up all the money that he could have made in those fights, he's what's he fighting for now? Like he's left so much money on the table, and you don't want to see Wilder be put in that same situation. You know what I mean? Because Wilder obviously, he's not about the business. He's about just the fighting. You know what I'm saying? He's not privy to all this business type situation, these deals. He doesn't know the ins and outs of the business side of boxing. I'm sure he's learning, but he's going to listen to what Haymon says. And what Haymon's telling him could be a boatload of crap. We don't know. We don't know what's going on behind the scenes. So that's why you have to respect a guy like Hopkins. This is a guy who counts his pennies. He knows what's going on. Sugar Ray Leonard was the same way. And Floyd Mayweather, to his credit, he's the same way. And, a lot of these other guys are just going along for the ride. And hopefully they're not getting beat out of money. Maybe they're being sold a bill of goods. Maybe they're hoping for all this to come back to them tenfold in the future. Maybe Haymon's telling them, hey, you turn this down today, a couple months, I'll give you 10 times this. But where's he going to get the money? because he's making too many enemies right now. He's shutting too many people out. So eventually, you know, he's going to run out of avenues to go down. And how is he going to get these guys fights? That's the big question. How are these guys going to get fights if he's making enemies everywhere he goes?
Well, let's take this caller because we haven't heard from Stuart Little in forever. Stuart, what's up, brother?
What's happening there?
Man, long time no hear, brother. I'm happy to hear you back.
Yeah, I've been having problems with my computer, and I've been busy as well. But you know, I'm free tonight, so I thought I'd come on. I wanted to talk about Al Haymon, Floyd Mayweather, and Eddie Hearn. And these three people are making a mockery of boxing. I mean, it's amazing how Floyd making a $40 million, sorry, a fight for prancing around the ring like a fairy. I mean, only in America, you know. And with Eddie Hearn, I mean, these cards he's putting on. I mean, this is what boxing. Last time I rang, you said, "Oh, boxing's going to pick up." It's got worse. Fucking dreadful cards. I mean, but I've got to pay. Well, I'm not even paying £15 for Baloo Clever. I mean, it's just ridiculous. I mean, I've been bigging up Scott Quigg. I'm a big Scott Quigg fan, but the guy's fighting bigger bums in Santa Cruz. I mean, when you know, it's getting beyond a joke. I mean, Al Haymon's fighters, oh fucking hell, they're just fighting bums, and they're getting paid nearly $1 million to do it. No wonder they're thanking Al Haymon before their own mothers after a fight. You know, boxing's in a bad way. I'm sorry, boys.
Yeah, but along all those mishaps, there's gems, dude. So, you know, boxing is a whole.
But there's some great. Sorry, Nodes. There's some great fighters out there, but they're not going to be fighting anybody. So what's the point?
But they are. They are. We're getting our occasional good fights, man, to keep us happy. Look, I mean, Pacquiao Algieri, I'm excited for that style matchup. You know, Bradley Chavez. I'm sort of lukewarm on that one, only because Chavez left a bad taste for the Rios fight, but I'm pretty happy about that card, you know. And then you got the double, you know, they're going head to head on that one, so we're gonna get some fights on.
Hopefully Hopkins Kovalev can be the saving grace for this year.
Yeah, I mean, and you got Hopkins Kovalev, dude, and yeah, I don't know, man.
Because I'm not excited about this Rubio card.
Because as soon as B-Hop gets hit, he's going to find a way out of there. You know, I'm smelling a Chad Dawson all over again. But let's not get too excited. Let's not get too excited about that.
Man, you really got it out for Hopkins. You think he's going to do another Chad Dawson?
You know, it's funny. A lot of people are saying what he's saying. I mean, that he's not the only one saying it.
He tried to get out of there against Calzaghe, and he's not even a hard hitter. B-Hop, he'll feel the power. He'll know there's no way he can stop this guy, and it looks better on his legacy to come out of the fight with a fake injury than being knocked out cold. So, yeah,
oh my God! Please don't say that. Don't say that.
Yeah, I hope that doesn't happen, man. But you know, he's saying it, and a lot of people are saying it, and it just the more you say it, the more it kind of sinks in. They're like, oh shit, this can't happen.
Oh man.
Yeah, but it's B-Hop we're talking about. This is the thing.
I know. I mean, these.
Oh man, no.
It's. I mean, I hate to say it, as much as I respect B-Hop, but it is totally plausible that he does something kind of crazy.
You know, I do respect B-Hop, but if you look back in his career, there's a lot of fights. You know, I've stayed up. He's ruined with his antics. You know, and it'd be good to see him get knocked out and retire from boxing, to be honest with you. But as for that Bradley and Chavez fight, that's a garbage fight.
Yeah, I'm not excited about that either.
Timothy Bradley is levels above Chavez. Let's get it real. You know, that's
but
not.
Styles make fights, man. Styles make fights.
Yeah, they do. And Pacquiao Algieri, I think the Americans are getting a bit excited about Algieri. I mean, I got a feeling that's going to be a real good iron he's going to get there. So,
yeah,
these are not fights I'm really getting too excited. I mean, if Canelo and Cotto get it on, you know, fighters like that, or Foch Chavez, then I'm going to start getting excited. But, you know, there's a good card in England coming up. Billy Joe and Eubank and some futures aura. Let's just hope one of them don't bottle it and pull out. This is what boxing's become now. We just got to hope they turn up on the night.
Let me ask you a quick question, Stuart. Let's compare UK boxing this year to American boxing this year, and I got to be honest, you guys are doing very well. I mean, you may have a slight edge on us.
I told you boys ages ago when you was laughing at me, calling us Eurobum. I said we've got through some real talent. The whole of Europe has. I mean, we are starting to make a real noise.
Yeah,
in
but
boxing.
Stuart,
you boys know it.
Stuart, come on. You think I'm really gonna let you get away with that BS? That was back when you were fishing and grabbing everyone in the European, in the entire Europe. No, UK, man. Like Joshua.
It's hard for you to claim every Latin American then.
Joshua is your guy, you know. Brook is your guy. You want to start going to pick Ruslan out of Russia and Triple G out of Kazakhstan and Kovalev out of wherever the hell he's from.
You laughed at me about Kell Brook. You laughed. What did I say to you? I said to you, Kell Brook, world champion. Mark my words. And you all called me names. Fucking who's laughing now?
He was the biggest Kell Brook hater, man. Oh my God!
Stuart, man. And I can't believe that you don't call in for that, because I gave you Kell Brook hell for years. For years, man. You're entitled to gloat, man. You're entitled to gloat.
Stuart, why is Kell Brook getting jumped, though? What's the deal with that? What's the story about him getting jumped and getting stabbed? And I heard that wasn't the first time it happened. What's the deal with him, man?
Well, his story is that he was out drinking with his missus and got in a fight with an argument with some guy on the streets, and the mate, he pulled a blade out and stabbed him in the leg. But where he went is known of all. It's British criminals all over there on holiday. That's where they live. Drug dealers, criminals. So I don't know why he'd want to spend his holiday there anyway.
Yeah, it makes no sense.
Interesting. Stuart, let me get to this other caller, and we're going to get out of here, because this was just a quick update show on some really hot topics in boxing right now. The same boxing that you think is dead. It forced us to do a spontaneous show. But unfortunately, it was to talk about kind of bad news anyway. You know, Mayweather still not fighting Pacquiao, and now Wilder.
Well, it's not new news, though, is it? It's boring news. He's not going to fight Pacquiao. Get that into your head. He's not going to fight Pacquiao. His whole image is based on that zero. Once he loses that zero, he might as well just disappear into the mist.
Well, I mean, he's coming up to that 50-0, that Rocky Marciano. That's another easy, record to break. You know, I don't think that he's gonna go out without breaking that record. It's right there for the taking. But what's important to note, which we didn't, that what Stephen H. Smith made very clear is that if Floyd fights Amir Khan next, he's obviously ducking Pacquiao, because he says that he has no reason fighting Amir Khan. And finally, someone agrees with me, you know, because there's a lot of you out there that wouldn't mind seeing that fight. And, you know, I have nothing against Amir Khan. He's got a good win over Collazo, but I need him to keep moving in that fashion before he could get a Floyd fight. Collazo wasn't on the level of the Berto Ortiz fight for Ortiz to get that Mayweather fight. Like, and even that, the standards are low, you know? Even that, the standards were low. But, you know, Berto was undefeated, and, you know, Victor Ortiz was Victor Ortiz, you know? So that's what, and that fight ended up being great. But the Collazo Khan fight, that wasn't a great fight. I mean, that was a good fight for Khan. He still showed some of the same weaknesses, you know. He showed that he learned how to clinch, but we still need to see more before he merits a Mayweather fight. I mean, let's not get so desperate. But let me get to this caller. 702, what's up? You're live. Who's this?
What's up, man? It's Rob Palmer.
Rob Palmer, what's up?
How's it going, boys? Haven't called for a long time, huh?
I know, man.
Let me just get somewhere where it's not too loud going on. 1 second.
You must have got an alert that we were talking Kell Brook.
No, yeah, I heard you guys were talking Kell Brook, but I heard that at the end, Stuart talking a little bit. It's good to hear him back on the show as well. I never thought
I know, man. I just told him we miss him over here. He's out of control.
Yeah. I remember that. I remember when he was talking about how cleverly he was going to beat Kovalev and all that kind of crazy stuff. But
yeah, well,
he was right
he's
about
1
Kell
for
Brook,
1 then.
just like I was. Hey, speaking of Kell Brook, I still haven't received my boxing voice T-shirt from Robert Ortiz. What's up with that?
But he's in Europe right now, or Germany. I think
Yeah, but what? 2 months?
Email him,
He
though.
can't. They got the internet in Germany, right?
Email him.
Yeah. We'll see. It seems like he's. I gotta be honest. Seems like he's pitched out on the bet.
No,
he'll give it to you, man. He's not like that.
Absolutely not.
Okay.
No.
Okay, I'll look out for it in. I'll look out for it in 2027.
No, remind me via text, Rob. You kidding me? No way.
Okay, so break down what happened with Haymon and blocking this fight, because it seemed like they'd done some deal with Postol where he ain't gonna fight Garcia, so Garcia's gonna fight another bum, and now they're trying to do the same thing with Wilder and Stiverne. What's going on there?
That's what it's looking like, man. It's well, actually, we're just finding out old news. Rayfield clearly got a source that was that notified him that Michael Yormak visited Deontay Wilder back in mid-September and spent 2 days with him in Alabama and offered him $2 million for the Stiverne fight as the first bout of a 5-year contract with Rock Nation Sports, according to a source with knowledge of the offer. So that is what we're discussing, and the fact that we find this out now when we also find out that there's been another postponement, which is kind of the WBC's fault, but they also don't want to force the matter because Haymon brings them a lot of money and King has brought them a lot of money. And if them two are not, those two clearly are on the same page is what it's looking like.
Yeah. You know what? The one thing I'll kind of say, like, I know a lot of people kind of back in Rock Nation in this situation, but I don't really feel like that being. I feel like they know that these Haymon fighters aren't going to fight, so they're just throwing out crazy numbers just to call shit for Haymon. Because how are you going to make money off? Deontay Wilder could get chin checked against Bermain Stiverne, and then you've got to pay him $7 million, which you're never going to make back. Like, even if they'd put on Quillen against Korobov, that fight would have never made them back the money that they invested. So what? I mean, I know people invest money and they put it in up front and make it back on the back end, but I mean, I just don't think these bids are serious. I think they're just fucking with Haymon.
Well, they're absolutely serious because when you win the purse bid, you have to there's a registration, and so you have to come up with that money.
Oh yeah, but I think they know that the Haymon fighters are just going to keep pulling out, because it's not like they're bidding for any fights that involve fighters other than Haymon. You would see them bidding on top ranked fights. You would see them bidding on some other fights, but you wouldn't. But you only see them making big bids for people who are involved with Al Haymon.
I don't know, man. I don't think that.
Well, to be fair, Al Haymon does have a quite an awful large stable, so.
Exactly.
That's true, and he does pretty much have the kind of African American market down in terms of fighters, and that's kind of who you would think.
And that's what they're gearing towards.
Right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, we'll see. But I don't know, man. But I'm going to the Triple G fight this weekend. I'm looking forward to that.
Vic will be there.
I'm taking my wife to see boxing for the first time.
Nice.
So, I'm just easing her in with the most violent fighter in the world.
Yeah, well,
give her a real taste.
What you're doing is guaranteeing her action.
Yeah. But you know, she's the kind of girl that hides behind a couch during a scary movie kind of thing. So she might not like Triple G busting some little Mexican guy up.
Oh yeah, man. Well, Rob, let me get to this last caller and let me get us out of here. All right, brother.
Peace, man. See you.
All right. 647. What's going on, brother? Talk to us.
Yeah, what up? What up, Ness? It's T from Toronto, man. How you living?
I'm good, T. What up?
Not much, man. I was just listening to the whole Deontay Wilder situation. I think he's a fool for turning that stuff down. Just like the boy said, if he gets cracked in one of these fights, there goes his stardom. He's going out the window just like that in the heavyweight division. So, I mean, like they always say, you never swap the sure for the unsure. If somebody's guarantee you a boatload of money that you never seen before, you take that shit and you run with it.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I think that, I mean, look, you call me crazy, but if you get Deontay Wilder, right, you take the risk, Beeb. Wake up, Beeb. You take the risk. You pay the $2 million. He fights Stiverne. He wins. You don't have to put him in with Klitschko. Now you market him. You put him in you put him in the video. He's the feature of the next Beyonce video. You got Beyonce singing to this guy. That opens them up, man. I mean, I don't understand why you guys don't think that these people
that's what I'm saying.
Power to create their own brand, and that these are the possibilities that these fighters are turning down. They're crazy. I mean, granted, who knows if Jay-Z's actually gonna put you in a video with his wife, but I don't see it any different from some of the other videos that she's done. You know, I can see it as possible, and if not Beyonce, someone else because of those, connections. The same reason that Mayweather walks into the ring with Justin Bieber. It's not because he's really friends with Justin Bieber.
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm agreeing with that. I'm saying Deontay Wilder's a fool for not taking.
Oh no,
not taking that guaranteed
I know
money.
that you are. T,
I'm
I know that you are agreeing with me. I'm just passionate, and people, they don't see that aspect of it. But again, at this time, man, Haymon is doing so much blocking. He's like Mutombo right now.
Word up. That's true. And with the whole Stephen A. Smith thing, I'm gonna go out and say it right away. I'm a Mayweather fan, but I agree with Stephen A. 100%.
Yeah, I think
there's no reason for Floyd to take the Khan fight at all, other than he's trying to just pad another win to maybe make him a little bit more fresh for a Pacquiao fight later down the road at 50 to make the most money possible and break the record at the same time, or whatever the case may be. But I mean, that'd be the only out that I give him strategically. Other than that, it kind of does look like he's avoiding the fight a little bit. I mean, I know he doesn't like people mentioning Pacquiao's name because he feels like Pacquiao's been built up as the guy to beat him, and Pacquiao's using his name to make all this money. So I think that's why Floyd resents him in that aspect. But beyond that, he needs to go ahead and just crack this little dude, shut everybody up, and keep it moving. I think he beat him easy, to be honest. But I don't know, man. He might have something up his sleeve, and he might just be being a pest. We'll never know with Floyd.
Hopefully we find something out in May. But T, man, thanks for calling in. We're gonna go ahead and end this show. I mean, because this was just a spontaneous thing. Apologies for the technical difficulties. There's gonna be about 20 minutes of dead air. But what could we do? We're sorry. See you guys on the next one.